Hello and welcome back to my channel, and in today's review we're going to be taking a look at the Black Mamba Weapons Expert, aka the upscaled and improved Movie Masterpiece 6 Ironhide. Now first of all, if you are in the market for picking one of these figures up, then I definitely recommend that you check out Showz's store, and for that there will be links down in the description box below for Showz's store's website, as well as a link directly to the listing for this Black Mamba Weapon Expert Ironhide. Now as you can see, this figure looks absolutely awesome with the brand new LED features in both the head and the cannons, which actually have batteries which are included within this purchase. It really does look like an absolutely phenomenal looking piece. Now essentially what Black Mamba have done here is take the basis of the MPM 6 Ironhide, the core elements of that, the transformation, the mold, everything, and added a few minor enhancements which may or may not actually be for the best. There are some enhancements on this figure that I actually think make it slightly more troublesome than it really needs to be. However, there are some fixes which I do think are nice inclusions. One of the main fixes is of course the LED function, which I think looks absolutely incredible, and in order to deactivate this there is literally a button on the side of Ironhide's ear which when pressed will literally just switch off those LED lights, and then on this cannon it's this button here, so just push that and that will turn this one off. And then this one is ever so slightly hidden, it's actually on the inside of the cannon, so just switch that one off there, and then you can have your Ironhide in more of a static, more shelf like pose without all the LED functions on it. Now one thing you will notice upon opening this figure out of the packaging is how big he really is compared to the previous MPM 6 Ironhide. Now here for comparison, on the right we have the Black Mamba Weapons Expert, and then on the left we have the official Takara Tomy and Hasbro Ironhide with of course the new DNA design upgrade kit. Check the review up in the bio. And then as you can see here, they have essentially taken the main elements of this figure, upscaled it to quite a significant amount. I mean, as you can see, this new Black Mamba version definitely really does tower over Ironhide, making it a very impressive looking figure. And I've got to say that the sculpt on this new Black Mamba version is just as sharp as it is on the Hasbro version, so they really have done a great job in just carrying over the core elements of this figure and of course adding features to this. Now of course this Black Mamba version doesn't have the advantage of having the DNA Designs upgrade kit, as this figure was actually produced before the DNA Design upgrade kit came out. So essentially what Black Mamba have done here is made some adjustments to the torso section. However, unfortunately I don't necessarily think that they have translated too well. Just turning it around now to the back, and if I can move these pieces out of the way, as you can see in there, there is a brand new ball joint in there that actually plugs into this socket here, which is supposed to solidify the connection. However, as you can see, it's really not doing a very good job. It does make the arms ever so slightly more bearable than what the original MPM 6 was like before the DNA Designs upgrade kit. I mean, if you rattle it around, they're not going to flop down like the MPM 6 without the upgrade kit, but I still don't think that they are the best. I mean, when you move the arms around, they are definitely going to be flying all the way around, and it really doesn't take much to knock the ball joints out of place. Another element of this figure which they have changed is the way that these tabs plug into the arms. Now originally it was a clip on the arm, but whereas now they've scrapped that and there is just a slot in there which this piece now plugs into, and it does hold on, I think, better than the standard MPM 6. However, once again, it doesn't take much to dislodge that whatsoever, but it is a slight improvement over the base mold for the MPM 6, and there are a few subtle changes which I'll probably showcase when we get down to the transformation of this figure. But as you can see, it really does look like a very awesome and very impressive figure. They have put these sections here on ball joints, so now you have the opportunity to maneuver these around in whatever way you so choose. But all of the amazing sculpt work from that MPM 6 Ironhide does carry over to this figure, and he really does look very awesome and very impressive. The articulation as it stands is exactly the same as the MPM 6, so I won't delve into that too much. But honestly, the main thing for me which really stood out with this figure was the LED cannons, the head, and the brand new kind of enhancements in the figure scale. And it also does have a few new kind of die cast pieces, most noticeably in the smokestacks, but I'll showcase that more when we get into the transformation. Just turn this LED on as well. As you can see, it looks extremely impressive with all these lights on. And I honestly think that for the value of money that this figure costs, this is in fact cheaper than the MPM6 Ironhide on its own. It really is amazing. You get this new LED function. You do get some improvements to this figure, which does make it slightly more enjoyable than the MPM6 Ironhide. And one of the major improvements that I found with this figure over that version was the plastic quality. I have transformed this figure quite a few times now and haven't had any of the tabs stress or break, unlike the official Hasbro version, which after transforming it only once, I did in fact lose about 2 tabs. So it is great to see that Black Mamba's plastic quality is better than the official licensed product. And for a movie masterpiece size comparison with this Black Mamba Ironhide, here I have been positioned next to the newly released MPM Jazz, and personally I think the scale between these two works fantastically. As I stated, this version of Ironhide is slightly bigger than the original official MPM 6, so I think that the scale here works well. However, when comparing him with Optimus Prime, I think he should be slightly smaller, or in contrast, Optimus should be slightly taller. However, I do have ordered the really awesome looking Black Apple and Wei Zhang MPM enhanced Optimus Prime, which is actually an upscaled and much improved version of the MPM Optimus. So I really think that once I get him, it will complete this look and will look really, really well done. But as you can see, the quality of this figure, when compared next to some of the other official figures, really doesn't look too out of place whatsoever. And I definitely think that he fits in with these other MPM figures really, really nicely. Taking a closer look at some of the figure's details, as you can see, he once again still retains that incredibly impressive looking face sculpt, and they've actually gone as far as adding more battle damage to this side of his head. As you can see, you've got lots more dents and slashes like we saw in the film, which the original MPM 6 Ironhide didn't have. And just to show you the LED function and closer detailing, it's just this button that you push, and it really does bring some life and character to a very, very awesome looking face sculpt. And of course you can in fact open the figure's mouth to make him recreate the "It's Starscream" pose in the movie, which I think looks absolutely incredible. And then just switching it off, it's very, very simple. And then the sculpt for the body of the figure too is really, really nice. We've got amazing sculpt work on here. I really wish that they had found a way to actually put the arms underneath here, and that would have been probably a drastic improvement. However, I do know that there is in fact a Black Apple version of Ironhide on the horizon, so maybe that will fix that. But looking at the figure's cannons, these two have been detailed and look incredibly well. And then once again with the LED feature, it really does make them look really, really realistic, and it's such a nice added touch. Unfortunately, the arm flaps, it doesn't take much to knock them out of orientation. But then now moving down to the figure's main torso area, he has got quite a bit of hefty weight. Now there isn't as much die-cast on this figure as the original MPM 6, but that is probably due to the figure's size, and perhaps Black Mamba didn't want this figure to be overly heavy, as he is already a very substantial figure due to how much plastic there is. But he's got a really nice sculpt for the legs and for the toes. And then turning around to the back now, as you can see, I think that the fact that they've put these on ball joints really does help to get them out of the way, as they were quite a nuisance when posing the original MPM 6 Ironhide. And these smokestacks are now die cast. They are in fact metal, so are very durable, and it just adds that extra sense of realism, as the original MPM 6 was made out of rubber, so it became squished extremely easily, but there is none of that with this figure whatsoever. So really, really very impressive looking sculpt and detail for this Black Mamba Ironhide. So overall, in terms of robot mode, I think Black Mamba have done a magnificent job in taking that original MPM 6 Ironhide, adding loads of new electronic features to the cannons and to the head, improving the mold ever so slightly. Honestly, if I hadn't had got the DNA Designs upgrade kit, I probably would have thought that this figure was the best thing since sliced bread. But as it stands, we do unfortunately have the DNA Design upgrade kit, which greatly improves the shoulders. So whilst this is an improvement on the MPM 6 Ironhide, it definitely doesn't meet that level of improvement in terms of structural integrity of the shoulders, but nevertheless an awesome and very, very badass looking piece by Black Mamba, but of course we do have to cover the transformation of this figure, so just remove all of the figure's accessories and set those off to the sides and turn off the figure's electronic features, and then just turn off the figure's head. Now for transformation, I will in fact start off with the lower region, as once again that is the easier set of steps than focusing on the shoulder sections first. To begin with, we actually have to fold this section down, which is a brand new element which wasn't included on the MPM6, and then just untab this section here and rotate that back. Hinge the foot down now and untab this and bring this round to the sides just like so. What we can then do is turn the figure over now, and this section here will actually pull out. It is on a spring-loaded mechanism, which was something which the MPM6 didn't have. However, I actually find this to be a disadvantage, as it is quite annoying that you have to continually keep pulling this out before it then again latches into place. And just bring this all the way around now, and then lift this section upwards much like the original version. Collapse this toe section in just like so, and then fold this new black piece down. This is just to add some extra accuracy for the robot mode. And now proceed to rotate this around, and it's all really and truly about getting the angle of this all aligned. So what we're going to want to do here is this tab here will in fact plug into a slot on the inside of this 4x4 logo section. So just bring this down until it's at an angle where it can easily snap itself into place. So just squish that in there just like so, and then that will in fact expose a tab that this big slot here should hopefully just tab into place really securely on. Lifting that out of the way, just snapping that into place just like so. And then what we can do here is pull this toe down, which is a new element, and then pull this one down as well, and then move this out of the way just so that we can align this up and tab that into place, and then just collapse it. As you can see, there is quite a lot of friction between these pieces, so I'm not entirely sure whether this toe is supposed to stick out, but then it makes it obsolete as to why this would articulate in the first place. But that is how the functionality for that works. And then what you'll want to do here is just take this whole piece here and detach that, flip it over, and then realign that for this side. And that is essentially one whole leg of Ironhide fully transformed. Now we'll repeat the same process for this side. So untab this section here, bring this out to the sides, take this here, ratchet this up, lift this piece up. It is incredibly stiff, and then bring this out just like that. And then unlatch this now and rotate it around so that we can begin to really see what we're doing here. Bring that up. And then take this. As I stated, I actually find this spring-loaded mechanism a lot more difficult to kind of maneuver and control than when on the official version it wasn't a spring-loaded mechanism at all. And then what we want to do here is just ratchet the foot upwards, collapse this toe piece in just like so, and then hopefully we can then move this out of the way, bring this whole wheel section down now, tab this into place, and then hopefully this tab will just snap into place just like that. And then once that's done, we can proceed to collapse the toe section down, fold this in, fold this piece up, and then collapse that and fold that up, and then lift this section up and flap this piece up. Honestly, I don't think that the transformation difficulty is Black Mamba's fault at all. It is of course Hasbro's fault, as this was always probably the worst MPM transformation to come out of the Movie Masterpiece line. But there you essentially have the easy part done. And now what you'll want to do is take this whole back section here and just pull this away from the main body. This too can be quite difficult to do. And then what you'll want to do is just bring these sections out and then flip all of this over and line that up. And what will happen is these two big pegs will tab into these slots here, and then this section here will just snap into place along a line with this. So just snap this all into place. Make sure that the waist is locked in, as it is actually able to have an ab crunch. Ratchet this bit forwards, and then bring that down and snap that into place just like so. Now what we can do is begin working on the exceptionally difficult top section of the figure. This is no easier than the original version, unfortunately. So just pull this down and then lift these pieces upwards, just like so on both sides. And then what you'll want to do is bring these out just so that you can begin to think about where they're going to end up. Take this whole piece here and pull this out and uncurl the front bumper section. And then these here will untab from these slots on both sides. So just pull this one off as well. And then pull out the GMC logo and snap that into place. And then repeat the same process for this side. Snap that into place. And then bring this up on both sides. And then we can proceed to actually pull the head in. So just snap this head into that cavity and it will just rest there for the time being. Now we really get into what I think is the most complex steps of this. Fold this in and bring those down and repeat the same process on this side. Snap that into place and then bring this section forwards now. And then what you'll want to do is take these two big bits of truck and just basically try and align this all up in a way. It is exceptionally difficult to do, and even with the improvements, it honestly doesn't make this transformation any easier whatsoever. But snap those into place and then the front bumper will come over the top, much like the original version, and just clip itself in along this top section. And now what we can do is make sure this is recessed back. Just bring these out, and now these will actually tab into this slot here. So just align those, tab those into place. They just softly tab, so will more than likely fall out later on. And then we can proceed to bring these pieces together and clip those pieces together as well on both sides, just like so. Now turning to these arms, if these pieces haven't already untabbed, you're going to want to rotate the wrist like this, and then just bring this over and then bring the wrist around so that it is just snapped onto place, just like so. And then repeat the same process on this side. So bring this all around, align that up. And now what we can do is rotate this in and swivel this around. Repeat the same process for this side. So just bring all of this up, and the hands will actually rest into these cavities. So just make sure you get everything plugged in as best you can. And then these tabs here will plug into some slots on the inside of here. So snap those into place as well. And repeat the same process on this side, ensuring that this stays together as best as it can. Honestly, this transformation is the worst that I think Hasbro have ever come up with. It truly is a very, very bad transformation. And now with all of this aligned up, you should be left with something that looks along the lines of this. So we're almost there, thank God. And then just bring these pieces down now, and they are on double joints. So just snap those into place as best you can. Repeat the same process for this side, just clipping all this into place. And then finally just taking this flap here and snapping that all into place. There we have the Black Mamba Weapon Expert, aka enhanced and upgraded NPM6 Ironhide in his very awesome GMC Top Kick alternate form. Now, despite the evil transformation that this figure has to go through, that is something that is predominant on the official version, you are left with a fantastic looking GMC Top Kick truck mode with some great looking paint applications on this as well. If I had one criticism, it's that I wish they could have perhaps tinted the clear plastic windows, as that is something which is not been upgraded from the original version. But turning around, we've got the 4x4 logo, and really nicely, Black Mamba did in fact include these extra add-on pieces for the Autobot insignia on the pack. You'd actually have to plug them on to the figure upon opening it. But here we've got the die-cast smokestacks, which are very durable and look really nice. I love how they've painted the side view mirrors silver to give an extra layer of authenticity. And this is a really massive looking truck and does definitely evoke the sense of scale that a real life GMC top kit truck should have. Now, another upgrade that this figure also has in his truck mode is that Black Mamba have actually put rubber tyres on this figure, as all MPM figures really should have. I don't believe not one figure from the MPM line has had rubber tyres as of yet, which is such a shame, as that really does give a very premium feel and quality to the figure, and I think that it definitely helps evoke that premium sense with this figure, as it does roll exceptionally smoothly and does feel like a premium collectible. Now, as you saw earlier on, we do in fact have these cannons, and these attach to this figure in the same way as the official version via this peg and the ports on either side of the truck side doors. So just snap these into place just like so, and you can do that on this side as well. So just tab that in, and there you have the Black Mamba Ironhide, heavily armored up in a stealth type of display option in his vehicle mode. So a very nice release from Black Mamba with this Weapon Expert aka MPM 6 upgrade Ironhide. I really do think that some of the upgrades on this figure do make it vastly superior over the original MPM 6. I love the LEDs in the cannons and in the head sculpt, and some of the improvements to the overall structural integrity of the figure are actually really nice. It's just a shame that some of them do not land as great as the upgrade kit from DNA Designs. But as it stands, I think that this figure is great value for money. It is in fact cheaper than the official Hasbro version, has exactly all of the same elements with some improvements, has LEDs in the cannons, and is actually an upscaled figure, so you are getting a lot more plastic and die cast for your money. Now, if you are in the market for picking one of these figures up, then I definitely recommend that you should check out Showc's store, and for that there will be links down in the description box below of where you can pick this figure up as well as other transforming collectibles. If you did enjoy this review, please let me know down in the comment section below, and until my next review, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.